Hello again. Now let's talk a little bit about which English class you might potentially take during your first semester. Because obviously, the score that you get on the English placement test has some consequence. Just to recap, if you get a 1 or a 2, you place into developmental writing. If you get a 3 or above, you're ready to roll with English Composition 1. So let's first talk about the developmental course sequence. First of all, we have the traditional standalone class English 90, which is a basic writing skills class. Students who receive a 1 or a 2 on the placement test are eligible to register for this particular class. The class has standalone assignments, has standalone textbooks, and you meet with an instructor for 3 hours. You need to complete this class before you can take English 101, which you could do in your second semester. Now, we realize that a one-size-fits-all model doesn't work for students. So the English department has worked hard to bring you some additional options to be able to fulfill some developmental coursework that you might find to be a little bit more engaging than a standalone basic writing skills class. That's why we have our second option, which is English 091, an integrated reading and writing model. In order to be able to register for this class, you will have needed to place into English 90 with a score of a 2, and you also will have needed to have gotten at least a score of a 46 on the reading placement exam, meaning that you also need to take reading 90. Now, this class meets for 6 hours a week. It's considered to be a 6-credit class, and you learn the skills that you would learn in English 90 and reading 90 together in one class that's taught by one instructor. So that means you have one set of textbooks, and the writing assignments that you do are based upon the text that you're learning to read at the college level to fulfill your reading 90 requirements. Right? This class you would need to complete before you could take English 101, which you could take in your second semester. A third option is for those students who receive a 2 on the placement test, but who do not need to take reading 90. The course is called English 092 Composition 1 Studio. This course is designed to be a co-requisite model, meaning you take English 092 at the same time that you take a section of English 101. Both sections are taught by the same faculty member, and the way that the English 092 is taught is it basically functions as a writing lab for you. So the writing assignments that you get in English 101, you get extra time with the faculty member to be able to work on those in a lab-like environment. That means time in class to be able to work on the writing with more consultation with the faculty member. Again, it's 6 credits. You would need to sign up for the English 092 and the English 101. These are specific sections, so you can't mix and match. You do have to have the same professor for both of them, but it also does allow you to complete both your developmental writing and your college composition in the same semester, which allows you to then take your Composition 2 in your second semester. Now, the class you really want to test into, and probably the reason why you're sitting through this online refresher, is English 101, minus the developmental writing course requirement to go along with it. Right? This is intended to be your first semester in college composition. It provides you with a foundation in writing process and introduces you to basic research writing as well. English 101 is a requirement for practically every associate's degree and certificate that the college has. So everyone does need to take English 101 at some point. Right? If you did have AP credit at home or from high school, you may consider sending that score to us, as you may be able to be exempted from the course based upon your score. But our placement test cannot exempt you from English 101. Whether you receive a 3, 4, 5, or 6, that just means that you have to take English 101. Right? Now, what may also happen is that some sections of English 90, English 91, and English 101 participate in the English department's portfolio assessment project. This is another opportunity for you to be more engaged in your writing, and that you benefit from a smaller class size. The difference between a portfolio assessment section and a non-portfolio assessment section is that at the end of the semester, you submit a final writing portfolio that's reviewed and assessed by 2 members of the English department who are not associated with the class. They assess it on a pass-fail basis with the indication of ensuring that you have achieved all of the goals and outcomes of that particular course. Now, not all faculty members participate in the project, but as I mentioned, you benefit from it in that you have a smaller course size. So for example, a typical section of English 101 would have 22 students. A portfolio section has 19. A developmental writing course, i.e. English 90, English 091, would have 22 students. Normally, a portfolio section would have 16. So again, you get one more one-on-one class time. The English 092, if it's attached to a portfolio section of English 101, is also by default a portfolio section, but you don't submit a separate portfolio for English 092. And the other thing about English 092 that's beneficial, we talk about smaller class size, only 10 students are in a section of English 092. So again, the goal behind a lot of these different approaches for you is to allow you more access to the faculty member. So which is the best option for you? Well, first thing you're going to want to do is come to one of our orientations, as that's really going to introduce you to the college and the college environment and help you to learn your way around a little bit more. But after that, you want to meet with your academic advisor, either one at the orientation, one in our advising center, or one that you're actually assigned in your particular degree program. They can make recommendations for you about which course will best fit in your schedule, as well as which will best help you complete your degree in a timely way. So now that we've discussed what your different options are for English classes, let's get down to some of the nuts and bolts about the writing itself. And in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about what an essay is, and I'll give you some suggestions for how to write an effective one.
This project has been made possible by a grant from Pathways and the support of the Lash Center for Teaching and Learning at Bristol Community College.